Cuba has undergone significant change in the economy in the last, since 2007, more or less. We call it the update of the Cuban economic model. And ever since, a lot of economic measures have taken place, like for instance, a dramatic change in the law for housing, in terms of who can have a house, how you can have a house, how can you access a house and everything. Also, there's a new foreign investment law, very, very modern, very, very encouraging foreign investors. And this is all prompting for a dramatic increase in the production of building materials. The building materials market is growing at an incredible pace. Its production is growing, or sales are growing at the pace of 35% a year. And if you compare that with the average pace of the economy, it's very much ahead of the economy. The economy is growing at a pace of 2 to 3% a year, and the building materials market. And that pushes a strong demand on materials like cement, like steel, like aggregates, and we have scarcity of these materials. So at the moment, the production capacity in the country is not capable of meeting the high demand that there is, especially in the case of cement. We have at the moment 6 cement plants. So you have to consider that cement production in Cuba nowadays is roughly 2 million tons per year, which is very low, but we only have 11 million people as population. From these 6 plants, there are 4 plants that are very much outdated. I mean, more than 40 years old with old process and everything. But we have 2 very modern cement plants, one in Havana, one in Cienfuegos, and the other ones are producing 90% of the clinker that is consumed all over the country. So the other 4 plants are more like grinders. But these plants have facilities which can be converted, for instance, to calcined clay and this kind of thing. So there's a way, there's a buffer for increasing the production without having to make a huge investment, which is not only big in terms of size, but also in terms of the time span. We have pressure on expanding the manufacturing capacity for cement, which is a capital-intensive process. It's a time-consuming process, so solutions like SF3 could speed up this process. Cuba has been a pioneer in terms of making industrial pilot productions of these materials, so there's a great acceptance among cement producers, but also among governmental organizations, for instance, the Cuban Bureau of Standards and everything. So we are close to have a local standard covering the production of SF3. Further, some of these 4 other cement plants I talked to you about, they have existing rotary kilns that can be retrofitted. Retrofitting a rotary kiln takes, according to the project and depending on the complexity, it would take 200 days. So in less than 1 year, and with a capital of around $5 to $10 million, you can retrofit a rotary kiln, and you can set up a production of 300,000 tons of calcined clay per year. With this, you could implement a capacity of around 500,000 tons of LC3 per year, which is at the moment 1/3 of the current production in Cuba. We stick to the concept of Portland cement, but we do it in a more optimized way. So, and we're coming back to the use of pozzolanic materials, which is part of the human civilization. You go to the Romans, and the Romans 2,000 years ago, they were using pozzolans to make their cement. So we're coming back to these concepts, but as we come back to these concepts, we're using modern science, a scientific approach. And this is why we're doing this. But also, we're not developing a novel formula for cement, which novel means new technology. New technology means new machinery. We're building on the existing knowledge of cement. We're producing a cement that is very similar in terms of phase composition, in terms of performance, to the normal cement as we have known this for 200 years. And therefore, we don't have to make great changes in the cement plants to implement this technology. Construction is the heart of development. If you cannot build, you cannot develop your country. And the interesting thing is that this is an alternative path towards development. It's a green path, so to say. So it's a low carbon path towards development. The cement works very well for Cuba because we have a major issue in Cuba is chloride. We're a coastal country. We're surrounded by coast, and 40% of the construction in Cuba takes place in the coast. And this cement has proven to be a lot better than OPC against chloride. And chloride triggers corrosion, and corrosion is the main cause for destruction in concrete.